Yes, you've read the title correctly. I just said that Resident Evil 3 is the most underrated game of all time, especially in the Resident Evil franchise. People hate the remake because there's parts of the original game that got cut out, and the story is generally small compared to other games, and I will agree that the game is really small. I personally finished the game in 5 hours on a blind run with no tutorials and guides, and it's not worth 40 bucks. Okay, I can say that. If you want to buy the game at full price, even after playing it and enjoying it, I wouldn't buy it. The only reason I played it because I had it in my Steam family and I played too and I liked it. And in no way, shape or form is 3 better than RE2 or RE4 remake. Both games are better and longer, but people seem to hate RE3 remake for some reason, although it's a really good game. The graphics are alright on the game. I mean, it's like the other remakes, but in RE3 there's the dodge mechanic, which is really goated mechanic, although I don't seem to hit it consistently, but it's a nice addition in comparison with RE2, where in boss fights and in regular zombie encounters you either had to try to bypass, run by them, or just shoot the zombies or the bosses. In RE3 you can dodge the zombies and the bosses when they get close to you, and you can use it to fire rounds back at them. It's a really good mechanic. It's not as good as the parry mechanic in RE4, but it's a nice addition, and you can use it as well to move around the map and travel faster than you can run at certain situations. And the Nemesis as the main antagonist, the main monster, BOW monster, is better than Mr. X. Mr. X is definitely scarier and has way more aura than Nemesis, but Nemesis is a way better boss and annoying thing that you can deal with. And although I said it already, it doesn't have as much aura. How many times you escape it or you think you defeated the Nemesis, it always comes back until the, spoiler alert, the final fight where you use the laser to defeat it once and for all. And it's a way stronger boss than Mr. X. Not as scary though, definitely not. While I was playing RE3, RE3 is not that scary of a game, which in Resident Evil terms, some people enjoy scary games, some people prefer the action games. Like RE4 is an action game instead of a scary game like RE2 is, or RE7. But RE3, I also liked about RE3 the open world and the fact that you are not always in a closed like rooms. Like in RE2 you are mostly in the RPD and in the sewers and the lab. You have like 5 minutes of seeing the outside world, while RE3 has way more sections than RE2, and there are outside locations. You can go to the donor shop and other places, has way more area and buildings, not just the 3 or 4. RE4 definitely has way bigger map and way more very many different places to visit, but I like the fact that RE3 had many different places you could visit, and you could go from one place to another from a road. And another thing, although people dislike the story in RE3 remake, I find it one of the best stories in all Resident Evil games. The part where Nikolai betrays the group and tries to sell the vaccine and ends up betraying them, and at the end, again spoiler alert, where Jill fights him and leaves him behind to die in the explosion, and the ending sequence is one of the best as well out of all the games. Maybe RE Force is better with the jet ski sequence, and the RE2 has the train sequence, but I believe the helicopter sequence at the end of RE3 and them looking back at the explosion is one of the best endings out of every Resident Evil game. And top of that, I have to compliment the shock mechanics, that you can shoot a generator to stun both Nemesis and all the other opponents. I found it a really nice mechanic that they experimented on, that you don't have to kill a zombie, you can just stun them with one bullet to a generator and you can just pass by. And overall, the puzzles are not as hard or as interesting as RE2. RE2 definitely had the best puzzles, but RE3 is not a way more interesting game, but an interesting game that I believe everyone should give a chance. You don't need to play the previous games to understand the story. I mean, for understanding Jill's character as a STARS member, and what that means, and the drama, why she wanted to leave the Raccoon City, you need to play 1, but overall you can just play 3 on its own, and it's a really good game. And if you are not like a fanatic of the OG Resident Evil games, if you are not like super into the franchise and you're just starting out and you see that Resident Evil 3 is on sale, you should definitely pick it up. And another thing that I also wanted to compliment was the bonus challenges, the bonus rewards, the knives, the infinite ammo, the launchers. It's Resident Evil has a way to make replayability, oh my god, I can't speak, replayability good. If you do challenges and do, no heal playthrough or not opening the boxes, you get completion points. And for some reason, Capcom decided to call them CP, which is a terrible design in my opinion, to call the completion points or challenge points. I don't know exactly how it's called, but they call them CP. Anyways, I like the fact that in the game you can play to the challenges, they give you points and you can use them to either buy outfits or a hip pouch or recovery items or guns, something to help you. And if you play the game on the hardest difficulty, you can unlock an even harder difficulty, the Inferno mode, which is an infamous mode. The Inferno mode, out of all the games, is one of the hardest, and you are encouraged to do the challenges and put a lot of time to the game to be able to beat the Inferno mode. And do the Trifecta challenge, or whatever you want, the infinite, get the infinite ammo, voice crack, the infinite rocket launcher is a really fun playthrough if you want to just chill and play on the hardest difficulty with easy weapons. A lot of Resident Evil games have a lot of bonus things like RE3. It's not just RE3, but I do believe that the Inferno mode is the best hard difficulty out of every game. The only game that comes close to as hard as the Inferno mode is Resident Evil Requiem with the Insanity difficulty. That's also a good difficulty that you want to grind up to be able to use infinite ammo with the Requiem. And going back to the gameplay, I wanna say that the range of weapons is some of the biggest you can see. Yes, in Resident Evil 4 you can purchase them all while playing Leon, but in Resident Evil 3 you can play as Jill and use, you know, the pistol, the grenade launcher, you know, with the flame rounds and the mine rounds and all the type of rounds. I believe you also have the grenade launcher in the Resident Evil 2 if you play as Claire, but in Resident Evil 3 you can also be Carlos and use an assault rifle. So you, at different stages of the game, you can use different weapons, and there's a lot of them in hardcore and Inferno, the hardest difficulties. You also start at the train station. You get a good pistol that uses magnum rounds. It's really powerful. It helps you with the difficulty but you can't get the weapon on the casual and on the standard and assisted modes. But it's really, I like the way they did the weapons in RE3, that you get the better weapons in the higher difficulty, and the Jill gets the best weapons in her situations for fighting Nemesis and other bosses, and Carlos get an assault rifle to deal with normal zombies because he doesn't have to face Nemesis. I like how they did the weapons in the game and the different sections of the map, where you have Carlos having the RPD sequence and the hospital sequence, and Jill having the underground section, in her apartment, the station, and all these places that you can go as the two different people, and it's almost like a different game when you play as Carlos. Yes, in RE2, where you can play as Ada or Sherry, is also kinda similar, but the sequences aren't as big as are in 3, and I don't think they are as good, because with Ada you only have a normal pistol and a hacking device, and as Sherry you don't have nothing, you just run around and hide. And in RE4 you have the Ashley sequence, which she has to save Leon from the cage, but you don't even get a gun there. You just do a puzzle with the lantern and you solve it. But in RE3 you have a big sections with Carlos, and I also like the part where where Carlos is at the hospital and he has to fight a wave of zombies to protect Tyrell and Jill, which is like a game mode of its own. It could be a whole separate game mode, that small section where zombies jump out of different windows and you have resources and you have to use them to defeat the waves of zombies, to protect Jill and Tyrell until the hospital's security thingy comes online to protect you. And overall the game works really well when it tries to. I also have to mention that RE3 is one of the best Resident Evil games to speedrun and do challenges at, because it has the best trifecta challenge, and because of how short the game is, it's really good for speedruns. I believe the speedrun is around 40 something minutes to finish the game. I saw it, it's definitely one of the best speedruns out of all the Resident Evil games. Yes, the starting sequence is really boring for speedruns, so most of them cut the first part out and they start at the train station instead of Jill's apartment, just because Jill's apartment at the start doesn't have anything special. You just run at the exit trying to escape. It's more cinematic, and I liked how the start of Resident Evil 3 just throws you in the action almost immediately. You start with Jill just hanging around, nothing special happening. She goes to the bathroom, she turns into a zombie, but turns out it's a nightmare. Someone calls her, it's Brad, and Nemesis starts chasing her around her apartment and all the floors. And yes, Nemesis, all the cutscenes are really good in the game, and the part where you have to run to the parking lot roof to get into a helicopter just for Nemesis to destroy it. You just run him over with a car. It's really fun and highly cinematic. One of the greatest shots of the game is when Nemesis comes out of the flame after you run him over with the car and you slowly back away. It's really menacing. I mean, it's not scary, especially if you played the previous games, but it's a really good shot. I personally enjoy it very much after playing the game again. And I think that's all I have to say about Resident Evil 3. If you wanna see something else similar to these types of videos and about Resident Evil, you can leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.